Alright, welcome back to Black Summoner, Anime Review, episode number 5. Yep, with this one here, I am discussing the last 2 episodes of Black Summoner that have been released. I do not know if there was planned to be a season to this one, but I actually counted this one. Yeah, and can you believe I only started this just yesterday and it's done already? Like, wow. That was quick. Well, that's because I didn't have a new anime today. So, bench watching. So, in the case of these 2 episodes, here's what happens. So, Calvin is invited to do an S-rank exam to get promoted. So, he's invited to go to the Beast Kingdom to be with the King Gon. And apparently, it's he needs approval of 2 rulers in order to approve S-rank. The queen from the Rice Kingdom, she instantly approved because she likes him, of course. So, basically they have a problem in the elf village. So, they get there, and the village elder thinks that Elfin is Ethel thinks that she is basically a different woman. And I think his name is Luna, I think her name is. But sure enough, she actually is dead. She bears like resemblance to her. And she might be her mother. They kind of confirm by the end of these last 2 episodes. They do kind of explain of exactly why. Because it was this mysterious black dragon. Which, of course, where the curse where Athena came from. Ephron came from. So, basically, there was this elf who had humiliated him. Don't know who the elf was. The episode doesn't explain that. So, then this elf woman requests basically that she be the one to take the person's place. Like, you may not be, I'll take you as my bride. And then, of course, she accepts. And then they go off. And then a few years later, she's found dead. And that's when the elf village decided to move from the western continent to the eastern continent. So, they're not here because of the dragon. They're here because there are people being kidnapped. So, we get pretty much everybody except for Gerard gets something to do in these episodes. Yes, by the way, Brittany Quad's character, she's not in these last 2 episodes. She's not been in this series at this point. Not since, I think episode 8, I think it was. Yeah. Last episode, she's not even here at all. She was in the original light novel, so there's that. So, basically, there's this monsters, and of course, even though they put a barrier up, they're somehow getting around it somehow, and still killing people, so they allowed to remake basically put a new barrier up, and of course they have this massive fight where everybody gets a chance to participate, where, there's this army coming along, and of course they apparently are completely blindsided by, of course, Calvin's forces, who proceed to eliminate this first force, which is a 4th division. 5th division was instantly wiped out, and of course basically one soldier tells the vice commander about this, and he's followed by Rion and Mel. And Mel doesn't do a lot of anything in this year aside from she and Sarah. And Rion basically take out a bunch of soldiers. And then you have Rion take on an S-class giant. Which first sword breaks. Then use basically a trio blade. 2 blades for her and 1 blade for Alex. Which of course they proceed to destroy it and then do it again. And destroy it, and of course take the vice commander into custody. So, and what about basically Calvin? Well, he does get a chance to fight in these last 2 episodes. He gets a chance to fight General Clive, who turns out he's also a reincarnation. And of course, he does not know Calvin is a summoner. And they have this massive fight. Also, he's got these 4 beautiful women with him, and they're all hypnotized. And he wanted to make Ethel part of his harem. He is a massive dick. And they battle each other for quite a while. And the only reason why the battle is stopped, and he's about to finish him off, When in the course he retreat, by the way, he actually gets his legs blown off. So after suffering his like mini attacks, this is ultimate attack which is beaten, and then Nerino takes him, and when he wakes up later on, he wakes up and his legs have been restored, but because he failed, all his victims get to torture him while being healed. Yep. Meanwhile, they have a little banquet celebrating their victory. Rion gets praised, of course, first by Mel, then by her big brother. And that's it. Of course, also they get like a medallion. But that's pretty much it for the whole thing. No scene of them going back home. Nope. No scene of that at all. I would have thought that they would include that, but nope, they did not. Now, the way the series is, it kind of reminds me of a lot of Spirit Chronicles in the way. Well, in sort of... Well, the one thing that the series has in common with Spirit Chronicles is the titles of its light novels. Yes. And it did leave it open for a season. It's not like basically it left like a cliffhanger per se. Like in the case of the first season of Spirit Chronicles, that left on a cliffhanger. This, on the other hand, did not. Nope. As for why we haven't got season 2 yet, I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about it. It's been a complete mystery to me of, in fact, if they have received season 2 or not. I don't really know. If you're really curious, like, okay, what is my best estimation of exactly what was adapted for this episode? Well, I think pretty much all they did for this episode was just finish adapting book 3. I read book 4 purely because I think some stuff may have been adapted for the episode. It's possible. Yeah, but I don't think it was. I'm probably going to be reading the remainder of the light novels. And if you're curious, how many of these volumes are there for Battle Summoner? There are 22. Actually, there's 21 right now. But, final thoughts on the season. Really good. Something I've really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Oh yeah, I did. So, do I think it was season 2? Yes, I do think so. Definitely. So yeah, that is pretty much that particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share notifications. There's got a couple anime started up that basically release one episode. Which one? You'll find out later on, and then I'll start off my next binge watching anime, which probably will be tomorrow at this point. Okay, but see you next video. Bye.